Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I like a casino as much as most of you, but for the last 2 years, I've surprised many of my friends when I said that I'm not too sure if I wanted to see football games on the betting boards. And the reason is not because gambling is bad for society. Yesterday, for a perfect example, when Nick Chubb ran out of bounds near the end of the game, instead of stepping into the end zone, he made the right play, even though anybody who bet on the Browns lost the bet because the Browns did not cover the spread. My concern is that while the NFL likes the action, they don't like the home team being booed at home, even if the coach or player makes the right move. Besides, half the people watching the game had no idea what they were watching, and even after it was explained to them, they still didn't get it. Those people deserve to lose their money on a betting scandal. We'll come back in a moment. We've got Bud Shaw with us. More sports, and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 25th consecutive year, and of course seen right here on cleveland.com. It is a Monday. It is after another Cleveland Browns win, and now that we're setting up playoff positions and what needs to be happening, we'll talk about that throughout the next hour. Bud Shaw is with us. Hello, Bud. How are you?
All right, Les, you just said something I didn't think I'd hear in this town.
Playoffs?
Another Cleveland Browns win.
As opposed to 15 games or 16 games, and you have a shot at winning more than one. Now, I've always believed, now, Bud, you've been part of the show 22, 23 years. And one thing I think you'll agree on, there is nothing but transparency. Is that the right word?
Transparency, I think.
Transparency. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew never mind. I believe in transparency. And
there you go.
Which is honest to a fault. So I could come out here and say, wow, that was one of the most exciting games I've ever seen. Or I could tell you that my power went off at 1:15 and didn't come back on until about an hour ago. So what do you think, for the interest of this show and its transparency, what do you think I ought to do?
I think you need to own it. I think you've done the right thing. I guess you're shaming me into saying that I lost my power too, and tried to follow as best I could on Twitter. And the hard part, Les, was that people were so critical of the actual game itself, of the beauty of the game, the ugliness of the game, I should say, that I wasn't like in a rush to try to watch it afterwards because everybody was saying how boring it was to watch. But I'll contend this: there is no such thing in this town, of all towns in the league, ought to know. There's no such thing as an ugly loss. None.
You don't have that many to choose from.
Right. Not after what we've been subjected to over the years.
You know what I was thinking? This is kind of maudlin. Is that a word? That's a word.
Yeah, that's a word. Yeah.
You get the word that Paul Hornung passed away over the weekend or a couple of days before. He was one of my favorite players. And I'm watching that. What I did watch, when I watched the replay of the game, I did finally watch it, by the way. I'm not going to fake my way through it. That was a Paul Hornung kind of a game. Paul Hornung, for those who don't know, won the Heisman Trophy, the only Heisman Trophy winner from a losing team, did it at Notre Dame, and played for the Green Bay Packers. Here's a guy who's kind of a big playboy type guy, and Green Bay is where they send him. It's kind of, there's something to that. But that was a kind of a game for a Paul Hornung, kind of like 1965 when the Browns lost to the Packers for the championship when they were trying to repeat after beating Baltimore the year before. Do you ever get feelings like that about certain games, that they belong to certain guys?
Well, I grew up watching the old league and the old AFL when it was when you had those games in Buffalo that looked like nobody on the field really should want to be there. The weather was so bad. So occasionally they come through the city of Cleveland, and I got to say, in a real kind of warped and twisted way, I kind of enjoy those bad weather games. I wouldn't want to play in any of them, and I know they're not the prettiest thing to watch. But it's like, to me, watching the PGA players at the U.S. Open struggling to make par. It's something totally different than what you see normally in the NFL.
You mentioned the game the field you're talking about is in Buffalo. That's where O.J. Simpson. You would that would be the last place you'd think in a guy with the personality before all the other things happened. O.J. Simpson playing in that Buffalo War Memorial Stadium didn't seem to. It worked, but it shouldn't have.
Yeah, it was. I think that was back when guys didn't care where they didn't immediately think of what their advertising possibilities were, or their endorsement possibilities were when they went to cities like that out of the draft. So they just embraced where they were and became great players no matter what.
Yeah, but my brother and I talk about Frank Tripucka and the Sox from Denver. You remember that uniform? Probably,
yep.
Except for the Houston Astros one year in the '60s. I think Mike Tripucka, which is not easy to say, Frank Tripucka, one of the ugliest uniforms ever. And by the way, the Browns' new uniforms, when they wear them, they're nice. They've had, I think, 6 different matchups during games, but yesterday was nice.
Where did you come down on the all red Cleveland Indians uniforms?
Oh, the Boog Powell one?
Yeah, the Boog Powell one.
Yeah, I didn't like that, and I'm colorblind. And colorblindness that offended me.
I spoke at a terrace club thing one time, introducing someone that people actually wanted to hear speak, and I mentioned those red uniforms, and I kind of made fun of them, and a couple guys came up to me afterwards and said they were part of the team that came up with that idea, and that they thought that they were great. And I said, okay, sorry, I take it back.
Obviously, they didn't continue on in the business. 216-575-0403 is the number to call us. Is it too early to do scoreboard watching and see where teams will wind up in the playoffs, or do you probably have to wait and see here? 9 teams at 9-6, or 9 at the 6-3.
Yeah, and one of those teams is now the Baltimore Ravens, and I don't know if your power was back on last night. Mine was, and I got to watch that game, and boy, did it seem like a recipe for the Browns to follow when they meet again. New England Patriots, who weren't, I don't think, still are sure whether they can trust Cam Newton to win games for them, had ended up with 173 yards rushing. It was just a power rushing attack. And Baltimore looked like it had no, and granted, now the weather wasn't great there either, but Baltimore looked like it had no answer for that. If you go back to that first game of the season when the Browns got drilled in Baltimore, Baker Mayfield threw almost 40 times that game, even though I understand they were down 24 to 7 or whatever, 6, whatever it was at half, and they had to throw. But that's the key against Baltimore. And if you can beat them at home, which you'll get them at home and you'll get Pittsburgh at home, maybe you have a chance of finishing second in the division to the Steelers. Baltimore, got knocked on its heels last night. I think it now has to go to Tennessee to play.
And they haven't played well. The last 2 of 3 games, they haven't played well at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I still like the way the schedule falls for the Cleveland Browns. And I think the idea of winning 10 games is more than feasible, and maybe 11 at this point.
Yeah. Listening to the radio today and hearing a lot of the people talk about what a phenomenal play that was by Nick Chubb and Kevin Stefanski and all. And it was a heads-up play, but it was the play. It was the play to make. So why are people so surprised when guys do the right thing? And because I'm not sure the people who were saying what a great play it was, I'm pretty sure they didn't know what it was before it happened.
Yeah,
it's like the play that, and I want to see this win a Super Bowl. This play where you kick a punt and the guy calls for a fair catch at midfield, and then they get a free kick from there that almost nobody has ever seen. And I'd like to see the Super Bowl won by that play, just to listen to the comments on the street.
Yeah, I think it's because these guys are told since the time they're Pee Wee football players to run for the end zone, and not to stop and get into score. So when he did that, it showed two things. I think it showed an awareness that many players in the heat of the game don't have, and it showed a selflessness that we always knew Nick Chubb had. I'll admit, when it happened, Les, I thought, yeah, that's a really good play. It shows what kind of player he is. But come on, it would have been 17-7 with, 45 seconds left?
Yeah, but it can happen.
It could happen. And you and I talked a little bit before the show tonight. Anyone old enough to remember Dwayne Rudd will tell you that things happen at the end of games that, that we would never think could happen. And for those who don't know, Dwayne Rudd thinks he has sacked Trent Green, I believe it was, and the ball's bouncing around and takes his helmet off to celebrate. It gets picked up by an offensive lineman for Kansas City, carried down, penalty on Rudd for taking his helmet off, and the Chiefs kick a field goal to beat the Browns. I think it was 40-39 in the opener.
Yeah, something like that.
Many, many years ago. That was Butch Davis. So that's how many years ago it was.
In the spirit of transparency, before the show, neither of us could think of Dwayne Rudd's name, and you pulled it out. How did that happen?
Google.
Oh, okay. That's transparency.
I'd like to tell you a light bulb went off. A light bulb did not go off. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallslevine@gmail.com. Browns shut down their practice facility this afternoon, but as a player was positive for COVID. And are we allowed to give the name out? Well, I don't know that we can say for sure because the Browns haven't said for sure.
All right, then we'll leave it alone.
Yeah, we know that they put Andy Janovich on COVID list, but we don't know that he's the one who tested positive.
Right.
He could have come in contact with someone who did.
Right.
So I think that's the catch, although we kind of think that that's probably the case.
You can follow us. By the way, this is More Sports than Bud Shaw tonight. Or will be soon.
In case that information is wrong, Les wants you to know that was me, not him.
Yeah, Facebook.com is the place to go. You can check us out on Facebook. You can also respond to our question of the day. We post it in the morning. You answer it all day long, and then we'll read it on the air that night. That's More Sports than Les Levine, and that is Facebook. We are powered by cleveland.com. Bud Shaw and I return in a moment.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Yeah, it was, there were moments there where it was just whipping, and there's no way you could complete a ball. I mean, there were times in warm-ups that you couldn't throw it 10 yards. It was getting knocked down. So I think it was a constant communication with myself and the offensive staff, kind of, all right, where are we? Has it died down enough to call this play? And then a couple of times we just tried to get Baker on the perimeter and maybe get him an easy completion or run it. With him out there on the perimeter. So that was what the game called for. We didn't know that on Monday and Tuesday when you put a game plan together. But when you see the weather report, when you get there to that stadium, you kind of have to take all that into account and understand what is it going to take to go win that game.
Does that make it harder then to evaluate Baker, or what do you take away from his game yesterday given those conditions?
No, I think you evaluate the quarterback on every play, getting in and out of the right plays. Obviously, as you're handing off, you're grading him, but of course there were less opportunities to throw it, but in those opportunities, you definitely grade him just the same.
All right, that's Kevin Stefanski. Bud, what are you in his evaluation of Baker Mayfield yesterday? What's your evaluation? Did he do anything to change your mind one way or the other?
No, I just think it was a really tough day to evaluate. I know they have to evaluate a quarterback every play, especially one who they have to make a decision on about picking up an option and everything. But as far as the actual throwing of the football, I think it's a little unfair to judge a quarterback on a day like yesterday. I would say the same thing about Deshaun Watson too. So. Yeah,
he was 12 for 20 throwing the football yesterday. Let's see if we can run down those stats and see if anything else comes into play here. This is the running game with and without Nick Chubb, and here's Baker Mayfield now, 12 of 20, 132 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. That's why sometimes stats are misleading, because it didn't matter what his stats were in a game like yesterday. You just got to keep the ball moving. He did in that last drive that took him down to Chubb's run or play that everybody's talking about. But you got to make the plays when you can make them, and in a game like that, I think no interceptions is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, the thing that jumped out at me, Les, is that the Texans, I think, were either last or among the worst teams in the league in run defense coming in. In a way, the weather might have helped focus the Browns on what they needed to do to win this game. And we've seen in past head coaches, I won't say it's all Freddie, but we've seen, them have a decided advantage, at least statistically, against the defense coming into a game. And, other coaches have wanted to show how smart they are or how cute they can get. And I think Stefanski, in the end, maybe he was forced into it by the weather, but I think he's made some pretty smart decisions on, how to run an offense, how to call games. And this team, we know, has an identity. It had an identity even before Odell Beckham was injured. And that identity is Nick Chubb and, to a lesser extent, Kareem Hunt, and an offensive line that can run block. And I suspect we'll see more of that this week.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. We're going to go out to San Diego. We'll say hello to Clifford. I think I know who this is. Hello, Clifford.
Hello, Les. How are you?
I'm well. Have a long time. Well, I didn't see you. Bud, we had a kind of a high school reunion on Zoom. We had about 12, 15 guys, and we all called in and chatted for an hour. It was pretty cool. Clifford, I think you'll agree that it was nice, but we don't have to do it again, do we?
Well, I suspect I'll probably forget that we did it before, so we ought to do it again.
Right.
But it was nice to talk to you and find out exactly when I can call in.
Well, you can call me. I'll give you my home number too. You can call me. If I don't have my TV working, what the heck?
Well, I have a serious question. You mentioned Paul Hornung.
Yeah.
You and I grew up in the Jim Brown, Bobby Mitchell era, and the Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor era. And I remember watching the Cleveland Browns and Gene Hickerson and John Wooten as point guards. And I remember Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor with their sweeps. The Cleveland Browns now have two really good running backs. Why don't they both put them both at the same time in the backfield and run sweeps? I've been waiting for years for a football team to do that, and Cleveland has the personnel now.
In my thorough studying of the game, I think they did that 2 or 3 times yesterday, didn't they, Bud? I think they we call it the pistol now, but I think they did it 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah, I mean, he does like to use them occasionally together. I just think they feel that they have a very special back, a really good back in Nick Chubb, and a guy who's a complimentary back in Kareem Hunt. And I think that's why they want Nick Chubb with the ball in his hands almost all the time. Now, you could do that if Kareem Hunt was a blocking back, I guess, but I'm not sure that's his niche.
All right, Bud, you have your famous story in high school when you gave up back-to-back home runs to identical twins, which I think is a classic story anytime. My memory, Clifford, are you still there?
Yes.
All right, my memory of Clifford is we're driving down in our bicycles, driving down Bayard Hill, and
you don't have to talk about this.
Well, no, I have to. Explains a lot of things about what's happened to me over the years. So I hit a bump and I fell on the sidewalk head first, and Clifford was there, the first one on board, hitting where I went over my head. He got it on this. He rode his bike on this side of my head and evened it off a little bit.
Well, that was nice of him to do.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Cliff, I got to move on, but it was great to see. Well, I saw you on Zoom, and great to talk to you. And keep in touch, okay?
Okay, it's frustrating. I did not know the Browns ran that play because I can't watch them out in San Diego. So thank you. Be well.
Take care. Good to see you. 216-575-0403. Honest to goodness, it was a great idea. We don't have to do it again.
Hey, did everybody on that Zoom call tell Cliff how smart he was for living in San Diego?
No, he mentioned it a few times himself.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah, but his heart belongs to Cleveland. What can I tell you? 216-575-0403 is the number to call. One thing I did, Bud, while working on trying to wait for the TV to come back on, I practiced to say Devin in Concord, not Darren in Concord. So I think I'll have, if he calls tonight, I'll be ready.
Well, he'll call, but it'll be at 6:45.
Right, exactly.
That's his brand.
All right, so let's take a look at the running game. Cliff talked about the tandems that they had, and the game has changed a little bit. Not too many tandem runners anymore. I think, Bud, you're absolutely right. Teams may pick out the key guy, but they don't equalize it. But the Browns are pretty good because of the equalization of it. With Chubb, here you go, 5 games. Without Chubb, he's got 4, record of 4-1, record of 2-2, and rushing per game, 209 when Chubb is there. Without him, it's 95. Not that much of a difference. Rushing TDs, how about that? 9 and 0. But there again, Bud, you talk about stats, and all Chubb has to do is step in the end zone, and he gets a nice stat of us, whatever that yardage was for a touchdown, and it doesn't show up anywhere.
Yeah, that should be 10 touchdowns and with him as opposed to 0 without him. And
by the way, listen, I hope if there's a clause in his contract for a certain extra money for a certain amount of touchdowns, somebody ought to just give it to him for what he did.
Well, it's funny you bring up the contract, Les, because we know that they've paid Kareem Hunt now. He got his contract. Granted, it wasn't a lucrative one for a running back because of his situation and some of the issues he's had. The Browns will have to make the call on Nick Chubb, and I think it's one of those that you might question like the value of a running back in 2020, and do you make him do you tie up a lot of salary cap money in a running back when you're going to have to pay a quarterback and all this other stuff? But I think he's such a team player, and I know that sounds corny, but I think everybody in that locker room looks up to him. If he didn't get a good offer from the Browns to stay after what he's done, I think it could really be one of those things that hurts the team overall, not just on the field. And
you just wonder what analytics play in on that.
Sure.
Because you look at the position and say, well, it's not as it's an overriding position that gets enough or doesn't get enough share of the money that comes in, but maybe a great runner. What does he get? 5 years, maybe tops.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna, look at where he was drafted, right? He was drafted there because that told you everything that the organization thought of running backs versus quarterbacks and other playmaking players.
Right.
So he's in his defense, he's going to want to cash in. I mean, he wasn't a top 10 draft pick, and he wants to be paid like one, and he should be. But I just don't, it's hard for teams to pull the trigger on that when they haven't already, decided on their quarterback and some other players that they know that they're going to want to keep.
Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations, plus the website you have to check out before you leave the house. That, of course, is northeastfactorydirect.com. West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard, and Freeway Drive. That is in Macedonia. We'll come on back in a moment with Bud Shaw. Mike Masetta will join us a little later. I'm assuming that Devin in Concord will join us after all the work I put into getting his name right, and we'll do that a little bit later. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Kevin, it looked like Ronnie Harrison was extremely active. He blitzed a lot. I think he had a tackle for loss, a pressure, pass defense. The level of trust you and Woods now have in him, is it like he's been here forever now? Has he caught up to everything?
Yeah, Tony, I'd say to his credit, to Jeff Howard, Joe Woods, Brandon Lynch, all those guys have brought him up to speed. And there was a benefit of playing in a similar system down there in Jacksonville, but still I thought that it was smart with how our defensive staff brought him along. And now you mentioned him. He was all over the field yesterday. He's playing at a high level. He's another player that's all about the ball. And I know we didn't get one yesterday, but he's very active around the ball, physical tackler. You mentioned the blitzing. So yeah, I would agree with you in that he was active yesterday.
And how important is it to get somebody other than Garrett and Ward to be consistently making plays on that side of the ball? It seems like he's been for 3 games now.
Yeah, I think, I'd put Ronnie in a category of making plays and a guy that we can count on, and we're going to continue to count on. But I think we're getting a lot of guys are contributing. A lot of guys are playing. In certain games, some guys will play more based on how the game is going, and I think the guys certainly understand that there's a role to be played. But I do like the role that Ronnie's playing.
Thank you.
Nate Orrick will go to you.
Hey, Kevin, kind of related. What's going on at the other safety spot? Are you trying to see if Redwine can take on more there and take some off Sendejo's plate?
Yeah, I think it's just we're working through different combinations and getting guys snaps, and we'll continue to do that really at a bunch of different positions.
And is Joseph, still going to be a factor for you guys, or with him playing no defensive snaps? What was the reason for that, and what's going on with him?
Yeah, again, I'd kind of say it's the combination that we're looking for throughout different games, and we're going to count on Carl. I would tell you he played really well on some snaps and special teams yesterday, but we're excited about what all those guys in the back end can bring to the different games this week.
But don't you think in our new spirit of what? We have a new spirit.
Of non-disclosure?
Oh, yeah, of disclosuring things. Don't you think that when, like, Kevin Stefanski comes to Cleveland from Minnesota, as long as he's been there, and they say, okay, Tony Grossi has the next question, don't you think it's incumbent upon the Browns front office and PR people to let Kevin Stefanski know that Tony Grossi is actually gloom from doom and gloom?
I think Tony would like to start off on a better foot with most head coaches.
Oh, so if they ask if it's okay to say you were gloomy, he wants no part of it.
Exactly, yeah. Tries to fool him into thinking he's more upbeat than that.
Right. 216-575-0403. Well, they're talking about safeties. Ronnie Harrison, 27 tackles, 1 interception, 1 defensive touchdown, a sack in the last 4 games, all starts. Carl Joseph, 28 defensive snaps, 24 special teamers last week, did not play a defensive snap on Sunday. Free safety Andrew Zendejo is getting ripped publicly by a lot of people. 45 snaps Sunday, lowest count this season. And Sheldrick Redwine, 17 defensive snaps and 13 in the previous 2 weeks. So people are watching it to see how they're used. And that's not an accident. Stefanski doesn't say, oh, I didn't know he only had 13 snaps. They know exactly what they have, and it's planned that way to start.
Yeah, that was the most diplomatic answer he could give. He was asked if they were trying to take some snaps off the plate of Zendejo, and he said, well, not really, but it's exactly what they were trying to do, and for good reason.
Sure. Let's go to Bill in North Olmsted. Bill, good evening.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Bill.
Got a question. When Chubb went out of bounds from the 1-yard line, the first thing that popped up in my mind, obviously, was an attempt to obviously spend some time. But what is the deal on tiebreakers? When you get down to the end of the season, and I know sometimes they can go 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 deep in tiebreakers. Is one of them point differential? And if
it may be, but it's so much more important to win the game. It almost doesn't matter if there is a point differential. I don't know that there is or there isn't, but give me the win, and I like the fact that they knew that makes it a situation where the other team just can't. There's nothing they can do about it if they don't have the football. Hold on, Bud, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's an interesting question, but I don't think I've ever remember a tiebreaker being in the conversation, not a tiebreaker, but a point differential being in the conversation in the NFL. But I'll look that up. I didn't know if maybe that is the 4th or 5th or 6th, tiebreaker. But I'm not aware of it.
It's a lot worse if you lose the game because of it.
Oh, sure. But one of the great things about your program, Les, you say something and it always triggers in my mind something that happened decades ago. And you remember the drive game with Elway in '86?
Let me think if I remember it. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I do.
All right. You remember the Kosar bomb to Brian Brennan, who fought Dennis Smith, and Smith fell down. Brennan ran the rest of the way for a touchdown, and there was nobody by him. And I remember thinking at the time, I was at that game, and I remember thinking at the time, boy, he should have run around a lot just because nobody was coming down. He could have knocked a bunch of
and the minute he slipped on some ice there, I think they would have had an interesting response to that. I know. I know what you're saying, because you and I and a lot of people who act like we do, we think about those things, and then people say, "Oh, you're stupid." Well, I don't know about you, but they say it about me.
Well, another thing that I love about you, Les, I haven't heard anybody talk about a free kick since I can remember. And one of the things, because I remember back in the 60s, and I want to say Green Bay was involved with it, especially because you talked about Horning and brought back that memory. I think that was about the last time I remember somebody trying a free kick. I don't know how you can look that
I
up
think
or whatever.
that I think that it was done by. I'll think of it in a minute. I think it was done. Jim McMahon might have been one. I know he could do it, but it was. I'll come up with it during the break, or Bud will come up with it when I tell him what to tell his research person.
Well, I think the last person to try a drop kick was Doug Flutie.
That's who it was. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, that was a drop kick. I'm talking about a free kick.
Oh.
You know, where you fair catch a ball.
Yeah. What Bill's talking about, for those who don't know, if your team, they kick a punt to you and you call for a fair catch, everybody can leave the field. You have them leave the field. They kick a field goal from there. There's no snap. There's no seven step drop. You just kick it, and I'd like to see it happen. I'd love to see it in a Super Bowl when everybody says, "What the heck was that?"
Well, somebody did do it back in the '60s. I think Green Bay was one of the teams involved. Just a kind of a.
Okay, if you have people, have them look it up.
Hey, you got the crack staff. I don't.
Take care, Bill. Good to talk to you as always. That is for sure.
Hey, you might be getting a call from Bob Crane, by the way. So make sure you take it.
You calling tonight?
No. He's in Atlanta. We reunited after 50
Oh,
years.
I'm thinking of a different Bob Cranes. Okay, you're the one I played with at Lysias House.
That's the one.
Very good. Looking forward to it. Right now, Smiley One making it easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on special select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. And you can call Smiley One for further information. We'll take a break. We'll come on back. More to come. More sports and Les Levine continues. And we are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This day in sports history, 1962, Will Chamberlain scores 73 in a 127-111 Warriors win over the New York Knicks. That point total ties for the fourth most by a player in an NBA game. He, of course, scored 100 a little bit later on. Nobody saw that game, but apparently he did. Let's check out birthdays for the day. Frank Bowling, born on this date. JoJo White, Celtic JoJo White. Victory Parade, 1947. Dwight Gooden, Julio Lugo, and Amari Stoudemire, all celebrating birthdays. Bud, I don't think you're going to be surprised by this. San Diego pitcher Mike Clevenger is going to undergo Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I just saw that last. The Chargers not only announced that, but they announced that they signed him to a 2-year contract. So he's signed with them through 2022, knowing that he won't pitch in 2021.
Seems to be a good contract to have.
Hey, can I shed some more light on the fair catch free kick?
Sure.
My crack staff during the break looked a few things up. The last successful fair catch free kick was converted by Ray Wershing.
Wow.
Of the San Diego Chargers in 1976.
And that's why Clifford moved out to San Diego.
It has been attempted twice, though, Les, in the last 7 years. Would you like to guess who one of those kickers was?
No.
Very, very famous in Cleveland.
Don Cockruff, no.
Good try. I'm not talking about in someone's
Phil Dawson
backyard.
kicked a free kick?
When he was with San Francisco, just before halftime, they had him attempt a 71-yard kick that missed.
Wow. So 71, that's how much? What's the yard line? From the 29? From his own 29?
No, from his own 39, right?
How do I know? I went to Brush High School.
From where the goalposts are.
Okay.
Right? I think it would be that.
Phil Dawson, did he miss by a lot?
It doesn't say how he missed by.
You should be able to just produce a film of it.
Somebody named Joey Sly for the Carolina Panthers attempted a 60-yarder just last year and missed. So it is an uncommon play, but there's probably and I think what Bill was thinking of is that Paul Hornung did do it in 1964.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's go to Mike Masetta at Nature Stone. Hey, that's not a floor. Wow.
Wow.
It's Nature Stone. Hello, Michael.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Very good.
We're coming up with things we want to. We're coming up with things we want to see that'll never happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, I heard you're talking about the. How about Wilt Chamberlain scored 73 and then 100 in a game in games? I mean, that's just crazy. I mean,
73 was an off night.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing about Wilt is when he went for 100, that he was 28 of 32 at the foul line that night.
Yeah.
And that's not amazing somebody would do it. It's amazing Wilt would do it.
Well, that's one reason why Shaquille O'Neal could have never scored 100.
Yeah.
You can't shoot a free throw.
That's a good point. Good point. All right. Quick summary of yesterday or anything else on your mind tonight?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed the game. Again, the weather was awfully terrible, and I thought that they played really well. It was so much fun to see Hunt and Chubb back in that backfield again, running the ball, and the way that they just controlled the game, especially in the second half. Really a fun game to watch. I know there wasn't a lot of scoring, but the Texans are not as bad as their record is. You know, they won a couple games in a row, and you know, they were a top rated team the last several years. So that was a good win for the Browns.
You know, from the beginning of the season, when you talk about the schedule game and try to figure out who beats who on any given Sunday or Thursday or whatever, now all of a sudden the rules have changed because Baltimore looks like a regular team right now, and I think that bodes well for the Browns.
Yeah, and who'd have thought that the Texans would have been, you know, in their shape as well. But yes, Buffalo is a game that they should win, and you know, I think that they'll continue to win these games. Although I did just see that somebody tested positive for COVID, and they had to shut the facility down.
Yeah, we talked about it, but we don't want to give the name out officially. Bud doesn't care, so he gave it out.
No, I didn't.
It's not his livelihood.
No, they have announced that Andy Janovich is on the COVID-19 list.
Oh, all right.
And they have announced that.
And Phil Dawson tried to kick it a field goal.
And they haven't said it's because he tested positive. He may have come in contact with someone who did.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just hopeful that doesn't prevent them from playing this weekend.
Right. Not at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
you
I
just
think we
don't want
all
to. You
thought
just.
going-
I'll tell you what. You just don't want to hear Baker Mayfield or Nick Chubb or there's certain names you don't want to hear. But I mean, everybody counts on the team, but there's certain ones that we need.
Well, yeah, but in fairness, I don't want to hear anybody has it, because
Yeah.
If one person gets it and they come in contact with enough people, from what I understand, they just shut the team down for that week and they can't play the game.
Right.
And that's what no fan wants to see. That just happened to Ohio State.
I'll tell you what no fan wants is what happened to me when my television didn't work over. My power went out. That's what fans don't want.
Yeah, get a generator.
Especially on Master Sunday.
Yeah, Master Sunday. Yeah, absolutely. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
All right, Mike, got to go. Great to talk to you as always.
Hey, you too, gentlemen. Thanks for the time.
Now, hold on a
Take
minute.
care, Mike.
That's not a floor. What is it?
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Do you think we're going to fool him one day on that, Bud? Do you think he'll forget?
No, I don't think he'll ever forget that.
Thanks,
I think
Mike.
He wakes up thinking about that.
We'll talk
Take
to you
care, guys.
soon.
All right.
All right, that's what Mike's thinking. Northeast Factory, we're thinking they've got 3 great locations and a website you got to visit. It's northeastfactory.com. We'll come back in a moment. Bud Shaw with us, a lot of other people with us. We're brought to you and powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
We do this show live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then archive it all day long. And you can watch it 24 hours a day. If you want to call us, and we're not on the air at the time, you can do the voicemail of Truth and Reason, 216-200-6650. Let's go back to the phones. We will go to Devin in Concord. Hello, Devin.
What's going on, Les?
I promised I'd get it right this week.
Yeah, it's all good. How about Bud? Is he all good over there?
He's there. He's there.
Oh, good. You're about 3 minutes late, Devin. I just checked the time.
Hey, yeah, and I wanted to say I have no power over that. Basically, I call and then they call me back when they're ready to put me on.
Huh.
Oh, we'll see about that.
It's a likely story.
Right? Hey,
What do they
buddy.
do? They running through the 77 phone calls we get every 3 minutes?
Right. Yeah. I think they say, "Oh, my Lord, it's that Devin dude again. Are we going to put him on?" No, I don't want to call him back. Let's not
Have them
call
call the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
I think they're flipping coins back there on whether or not to give you a call. Hey, Bud, you see your boy take a 10 on 12 yesterday?
Now it's
No,
his. Now his Tiger is his boy now.
I lost power. I lost power during that part of it, but I seem to remember, I think I'm right on this, that the all-time score on that, the high score on that hole is either a 12 or a 13 by Tom Weiskopf, I think, who was known as a bit of a hothead.
It is Weiskopf. Yep.
Yeah, maybe there were some clubs thrown into Rays Creek too at that point. But
a guy from Bedford, Ohio, would do that.
Hey, the most impressive thing that Tiger did after that, he had 5 birdies coming in after that. After taking a 10 on par 3, he had 5 birdies.
I thought it was like I thought it was
might
13,
have been more.
15, and 16.
I think he shot 39 on the back with a 10. I think. But I'm not positive about
Hey,
that.
I didn't see much of the Masters. In fact, I didn't see much of any TV because I had no power. But that doesn't bother me any. Was there any discernible difference just from you guys, golf guys, watching it based on the fact that it's in November this year? Was there anything that if you just saw film of a golf tournament, would you say, oh yeah, that's November?
Yeah, I mean, there were times when they had to bring a crew out and brush pine needles and stuff off of the green. I don't know if that was 15 or 13. I can't remember which, but
those were midges.
So there were a couple of things that told you, yeah, this is a little different, you know. But all in all, it was only the sight lines were different because fans weren't, crowded all around. You could see more of the course that way.
And I tell you, did you see the drone shots that they had there for the first time? That was really cool.
Yeah, those were great. Hey, listen, if you two are trying to get me to talk about the time I played Augusta National, I'm just not going to do it. I don't care how much you pressure me.
All right, how about giving up back-to-back dings to brothers?
We'll wait till April for that story.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, but, and that play by Chubb, it's great, and it's all good. But really, I mean, that like end of third quarter, fourth quarter, I thought Hunt basically was carrying that squad there for a while. I mean, he was the guy.
They got them both. You may as well use them.
Yeah, and he's a change of pace, and I think the combination is. Did you see that stat? The first time we had back-to-back or 2 guys with 100 yards since like '68.
I was really surprised by that because I wasn't here during the Mac Finer years, but I kind of thought that they did that, not routinely, but certainly did that.
All right, we got to go, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, Devin just got a chance to call.
All right, Devin, finish up. Come on.
Yeah, so they had like 2,000-yard rushers.
I'm the guy in charge of clock management around here.
Hey, you gotta love my boy Stefanski's clock management.
My boy.
And play calling, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, now, is it okay if I go now? It's okay. Thanks, Devin.
Hey, hair looks good today, Les.
Oh, I did it because of you. Thank you. May not be able to get a haircut. May not be able to get a haircut for 6 months after this week, but what do I know? Let's take a break. We'll come on back one more time. Thanks, Devin. Thank you, Devin. Back in a moment with Bud Shaw. Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot will be here. So will Chris Fedor. We want to talk a little bit about the Cavaliers, their draft coming up this week. That'll be tomorrow. You see us from 5 until you see us from 6 until 7 Eastern time, and then we replay it throughout the whole day, which you can do. But you have your vote caster ready? Okay.
Right here.
We got it. Time for How Come Quickies. And I don't like to influence the vote, Bud. But this guy says it's his second attempt, and I got to tell you, for a second attempt, it beats a lot of the ones that come every day.
Okay.
But that's up to you.
Okay.
It's Steve in Tallahassee, Florida. Whenever I go to a frozen yogurt store, everyone seems so self-serving? Second try. Keep that in consideration. Take your time.
Uh-oh.
They're called quickies.
The marker is out.
Well, you can verbalize it.
Wait. I'm going with 7.5.
7.45. Okay. Not bad.
7.5.
All right, Mr. Gullible comes in. Ready for this?
Yeah.
How come I can't stand it when people repeat themselves? I can't stand it. You're thinking.
I saw it coming.
7.0.
Yeah, only because I saw it coming.
I didn't give enough pizzazz to it?
As soon as I heard, how come when you repeat yourself, I knew he was going to repeat himself.
All right, how about this one? How come golf is the only sport where the most feared opponents is yourself? That's just a statement. That's not a quickie.
It's a statement, and it's not a very funny statement. 5.0.
Not a very funny statement.
No, we're looking for brevity and humor here.
And transparency. Or transparency. Well, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home and watch I'm going to watch my family room, see if anything's on, like a TV.
Is that all the entries for tonight?
That's it.
Well, then we should congratulate Steve in Tallahassee on his victory.
Right. His second one becomes now we don't play the number game anymore.
Exactly. He wins.
All right, Bud, you're the best. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Les.
All right, Bud Shaw. Tremendous. All right, that'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Mary Kay Cabot will join us. Chris Fedor will also be with us. And you. And D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here on Wednesday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.